The eternal dominion dwarfed every vessel in the fleet. Michael Torres walked its corridors feeling like a mouse in a cathedral built for giants, which wasn't far from truth. The Valkyrian Supremacy's flagship was designed to intimidate, and it succeeded brilliantly. Crew members towered over him, their amber eyes tracking his passage with barely concealed contempt. Humans were soft to them, their brief spacefaring history laughable. 6 months. That's what Michael's contract specified. 6 months consulting on armor systems, then back to Earth with enough credits to set up his own firm. He kept his head down, did his work, counted days. Then came the summons that changed everything. Queen Zareth required his immediate presence. Her personal battle armor, legendary equipment that had survived 100 campaigns, was damaged. She'd refused to let Valkyrian technicians touch it. She wanted the human. Michael entered the royal armory with sweating palms and racing heart. He'd seen recordings of Queen Zareth, the Iron Regent whose military campaigns had expanded Valkyrian territory by 40% in 20 years. Seeing her in person was overwhelming. She stood 7 feet tall, her long ears marked with battle scars worn as badges of honor, amber eyes carrying weight of command that had crushed rebellions and won wars. She wore the damaged armor, plating cracked and scoring across the chest piece revealing advanced weave beneath. The damage should have killed her. Engineer Torres. Her voice carried absolute authority despite speaking Terran standard. I am told you are the best humanity offers. Prove it. No pleasantries, just command. Michael swallowed nervousness and began assessment. The armor was magnificent, Valkyrian craftsmanship integrated with materials he'd never encountered. Damage was severe but repairable, requiring hours of delicate precision work. I'll need you to remove it, Your Majesty. I can't assess under layers while you're wearing it. Zareth's expression didn't change. No, you will work with it on me. The armor does not leave my body during campaigns. Insane from engineering perspective. But arguing with a queen whose reputation included executing subordinates for failures seemed unwise. The work required uncomfortable proximity. Valkyrian armor was form-fitted, hugging body contours for maximum protection. Repairing chest plating meant his hands near her collarbone, her ribs, working in spaces where professional distance became impossible. Michael was sweating from concentration and nervousness, hyper-aware of every accidental contact. Every moment his tools brought him within inches of touching her directly. Zareth seemed amused. After an hour watching him maintain rigid professionalism, she spoke. You are shaking, Engineer Torres. Do you fear me? No, Your Majesty. His voice slightly betrayed the lie. I'm concentrating. You are terrified. Every human who enters my presence radiates fear. It is tiresome. She shifted slightly, the movement bringing them closer. Michael froze, hands millimeters from her skin where plating had been removed. Don't be shy, human, she whispered, voice carrying unexpected warmth beneath command tones. I do not bite, usually. The comment broke something in Michael's tension. He let out a nervous laugh before he could stop himself, then immediately regretted it. Laughing at the Iron Regent seemed suicidal, but Zareth's expression softened fractionally. There, you are less rigid now. Continue your work and breathe. I prefer my engineers conscious. As hours passed, the atmosphere shifted. Zareth began speaking about the armor itself, its history, how she'd commissioned it 15 years ago, how it had saved her life in 7 major battles. She described campaigns Michael had only read about, her narration matter-of-fact about violence that shaped galactic politics. But Michael noticed what she didn't say. Any mention of life outside war, of interests beyond conquest, of moments where she wasn't the Iron Regent but simply Zareth. By the 4th hour, Michael's nervousness had transformed into genuine concern. Zareth sat absolutely still, but he was close enough to see micro-expressions massive reputation didn't hide. The way she flinched when his tools probed certain areas, not from pain but from deep exhaustion. The tremor in her hands when she thought he wasn't watching. the hollow weight in her eyes. "When did you last sleep, Your Majesty?" Zareth's eyes refocused on him. For a moment he thought he'd overstepped fatally. Then she answered with surprising honesty, "Sleep is a luxury I cannot afford. There are always campaigns to plan, territories to secure, threats to eliminate. With respect, Your Majesty, exhaustion isn't weakness. It's biology. Even you need rest." Zareth stared at him for 10 seconds that stretched into eternity. Then something in her expression cracked, not breaking but opening, revealing glimpses of the person beneath the icon. "And when would you suggest the Iron Regent rest? Between the rebellion threatening our supply lines, or during the diplomatic crisis that could escalate to war? Perhaps while addressing the internal faction plotting to replace me." The bitterness revealed more than any intelligence briefing. Michael set down his tools and did something incredibly stupid. He met her eyes as an equal. "Maybe right now, while someone's fixing your armor and the ship is between campaigns. Maybe for just an hour, you could stop being the Iron Regent and just be tired." Vulnerability in her expression lasted only a moment before composure returned. But in that moment, Michael saw not a feared conqueror but a woman carrying impossible weight, who'd forgotten how to set it down. "You are either very brave or very foolish. Finish the repairs. Then tell me about Earth, not strategic assessments. Tell me something that has nothing to do with war." Michael completed the work while describing his hometown, his family's restaurant, his niece's astronomy obsession. Mundane details with nothing to do with empire. Zareth listened with attention normally reserved for tactical briefings, asking questions revealing genuine curiosity about life lived outside military necessity. When repairs were complete, Michael stood to leave. Zareth caught his wrist, not aggressively but with unexpected gentleness. "You will return tomorrow. The armor requires ongoing maintenance, daily inspections. For the remainder of your contract." Transparently unnecessary from engineering perspective. The repairs were solid, but Michael understood what was actually being requested. Companionship, someone who saw her as person rather than icon, an hour each day where she was allowed to be tired. "Of course, Your Majesty, same time tomorrow." Her smile was small but genuine. "And Engineer Torres. You may call me Zareth when we are alone." The pattern continued for months. Daily armor maintenance sessions evolving into conversations about everything except war. Human philosophy, Valkyrian poetry she'd studied in youth before military training consumed everything. Debates about whether the universe trends toward chaos or order. The Dominion's crew noticed the Queen seemed less brittle, her commands carrying authority without the razor edge of exhaustion. Michael's contract was extended twice, then converted to permanent position. The story reached its quiet culmination during a formal Valkyrian ceremony where Zareth was decorated for another campaign. Michael watched from the crowd, seeing her in full regalia, commanding absolute authority. Their eyes met briefly, and she gave the smallest nod, acknowledgement that beneath ceremony and command, there was someone who remembered what it was like to be simply herself. Later, in the privacy of the armory, she asked about his sister's new baby, and he carefully inspected armor that didn't need inspection. And for 1 hour neither was engineer or queen. Just two people who found understanding in the last place anyone expected. Across species boundaries, in moments between